of a story published on the front page of this newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, this weekend. So you can catch the details of those stories on page 6. Kamala congratulated Holness. Yes, opposition leader Kamala Prasad Bisesa on Friday congratulated Jamaican Prime Minister Andrew Holness and his Jamaica Labour Party on their landslide victory in Jamaica's general election on Thursday. The JLP defeated the opposition People's National Movement 49-14 in the election. Skinner Park on track for May 2021. Yes, the refurbishment, renovation of Skinner Park is ongoing, and there's a very graphic photograph published on page 8. And according to the story, COVID-19 has pushed back the date of completion of the upgraded Skinner Park from February to May 2021. Brown named Chief Executive Officer of Lockjack Business School. Yes, Mariano Brown, former lecturer of the UWI Arthur Lockjack Global School of Business to CEO Mariano Brown, is eager to tackle a turnaround of the institution. Mariano Brown was a former minister in the Ministry of Finance in a previous administration. So you can catch that story in today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. Cooperative Credit Union League Pre-Budget Forum. James, focus should be on poor communities. Political commentator Dr. Winford James said the upcoming budget should have a focus on poor households and disadvantaged communities. President of the Cooperative Credit Union League, Joseph Remy, has called for the government to establish a technical assistance fund for retraining of people during COVID-19. Now, those stories are on page 10. You can catch that on, as I said, in today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. The United National Congress, Dr. Keith Rowley, government must act. The United National Congress is calling on the Prime Minister to act with haste to treat with a contingency response for Trinidad and Tobago to the unstable oil tanker stuck in Venezuelan waters in the Gulf of Paria. UNC's PRO Anita Haynes in a statement issued late on Saturday. So those stories you can catch on page 11 of today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. Go outside there and purchase your copy of this publication. It is priced at only $3 and it's available at all leading newsstands throughout the country. Well, into some sporting news now as we continue to focus on the Caribbean Premier League. Well, the Trinbago Knight Riders would have scored another victory over the weekend. Yes, 10 from 10. And on a Tuesday, well, the first semi-final will be played down at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. That first semi-final will see the Trinbago Knight Riders coming up against the Jamaica Talawas. And that game is scheduled to bowl off at around 10 o'clock in the morning. And in the later game, the second semi-final, we'll see the Guyana Amazon Warriors coming up against the St. Lucia Zooks. That game, as I said, will bowl off at around 5:30 in the afternoon. And there would have been, let me remind you of the scores in those games. St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, well, they would have made 77 in 18.2 overs. And Trinidad and Tobago Knight Riders got to the total for the loss of 1 wicket in 11.3 overs. They would have made 78 for the loss of 1 wicket. And yesterday too, well, the Zooks got the better of Jamaica Talawas. Scores in that game, the Zooks, they would have made, I'm just trying to get the scores for you here this morning. Right, here it is. Sunday 6th of September, 77 all out and 78 for 1. That's the Knight Riders versus the Patriots. And then the other game, Zooks coming up against the Talawas. The Zooks would have made 145 for the loss of 6, and they would have restricted the Talawas to 134 for the loss of 9 wickets. Remember, the semi-final is on Tuesday. The 10 o'clock game, Knight Riders coming up against Talawas. And semi-final 2 also on a Tuesday at around 5:30. Guyana Amazon Warriors coming up against the Zooks. And the final, well, that is carded for the 10th of September. Stay with us here, 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. When I come back, I'll open the lines where you can call me at 636-7547, 227-5739. We are also live on RCL U975, and you can also catch us on our WhatsApp at 378-4975. The time in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, it's just about 24 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Let's go to some commercials this morning.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo for all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
Darbon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited for all your grocery items, wholesale and retail. At Darbon, you can also transfer money, pay your bills, and also cash your social welfare checks. Darbon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited, located at number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande. They also specialize in real estate, and they also have a special on land at Arena Road, Freeport, for just $165,000 per plot. For further information, call Darbon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited at 267-3063 or 223-0630. Darbon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited of number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande.
Gosh, boy, I can't wait to be home now.
Stuck in traffic again? Hare Bapre.
Well, guess what? Your day is about to get hotter than ever in the afternoon. It's the new afternoon drive time program on U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Tune in Monday to Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. with yours truly, the DJ Flavia Experience. Let's make it hotter than ever in the afternoon. Great music, great info, and great vibes. Hotter than ever in the afternoon. Monday to Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. on U97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
It's the talk of the town. It's Talk It Talk on U975 FM, Monday to Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. So join me, your host Mukesh Baburam, on a 3-hour journey guaranteed to take your stress away. Remember, Monday to Thursday, right here on U975 FM.
To you, Newsday Classifieds. Take Value Optical to be your partner.
I do.
I now pronounce free eye test from Value Optical for Newsday Classified customers. Call the Newsday Classified reps for more information. You may now kiss the bride.
U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio is now on Facebook. Like us, follow and share our page. We'll be sharing the latest news, tips and much more. You can also view what's happening in our studio. Find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel at RCL U975.
Yes, indeed, and thank you very much for choosing us here at the 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Good morning, people. Good morning, and welcome to today's edition of the morning program, You Talk on 975. Note that you can call us this morning at 636-7547, 227-5739, and you can also get us on WhatsApp at 378-4975. Well, last week we spoke extensively about COVID-19, the impact it is having on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, over the weekend, we would have been presented with figures, spiraling cases indeed. The toll as a result of COVID-19, the death toll that is, now stands at 34. And there is expectation that this figure could rise in the coming days. Now, what can be done about it? Well, over, I think, sometime last week, my good friend Larry Sammy was talking about the use of face shields and a face mask and what have you. Well, over the weekend, the Ministry of Health would have issued certain guidelines as it relates to all of the preventive measures, the guidelines coming from them. And let me just share this with you here this morning. Addressing concerns over the latest health regulations, which make it an offense to be in public without a face covering, the Ministry of Health released guidelines on the use of masks, which indicated that people with physical, mental, or medical complications can also use face shields. The guidelines released over the weekend acknowledge that the wearing of masks may not be suitable for every situation, and some people may not be able to wear them. In these circumstances, which the ministry identified as circumstances where people have respiratory conditions, people are involved in high intensity activities like exercising or running, and people in instances where cloth face coverings could cause an occupational hazard, a face shield may be the best option. I read that to you because over the weekend too, I was involved in some jogging and some exercise, and wearing a face mask, I can tell you it's quite challenging and it's very uncomfortable indeed. But it's something which we would have to live with. Let me remind you of the toll thus far: 2,250 positive cases, 34 deaths, 1,492 active cases. As I've been telling you all the while, very frightening figures indeed. And if we do not take all of the necessary precautions to try to flatten the curve, well, as I told you last week, and I will continue to remind you, we will be in a situation where we'll be overwhelmed. The health system in this country will be overwhelmed. But we must do our part. The police alone cannot do it all, people. The police alone cannot do it. I'll tell you something. Over the weekend, on a Saturday afternoon, I journeyed to Miaro. And I can tell you, I would have witnessed a number of people. Yes, I'm sorry about this, but a number of people not adhering to the guidelines. There were people who would have been stopping at bars and still liming, quote unquote, liming outside and what have you. I know people. This is Trinidad and Tobago. And we love our freedom. We love to lime. We love to party. But we have to understand what is the bigger picture here. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Henry. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, you're opening the button this morning, Larry. Go ahead. What's on your mind this morning?
Well, I didn't work Friday. I had some personal stuff to take care of, but I worked Saturday, and I'm on my way to Miaro on Saturday in Rio Claro. I can tell you this much. This was about maybe 7 a.m. in the morning. The police and I was out and about in the heart of Rio Claro, ensuring that people who are entering Rio Claro, leaving Rio Claro, they were stopping all vehicles to ensure that people have their mask on. So we are seeing that the TTPS is being under a pressure point where they have to come out now and, enforce this law that the government has speculated on the citizens. Now, Kenrick, I want to go back to our contribution.
Larry, hold on. What about the personal responsibility of an individual? You don't have to wait until a police officer.
We have reckless people in this country. Not only in this country, throughout the world. It's have people who just don't care. They just don't think. They think what they're doing is the right thing, and you cannot correct them. So we have to live with that. We cannot change that mental mind of an individual or such individuals. But I want to take you back to a contribution I made a couple of weeks ago. And I asked you to actually play it on your frequency. The WHO spokesrepresentative was telling the world about the different type of mask for the different age group, because we have ailing people who have respiratory illness. We have a bracket of people, young people. Then we have the middle-aged people. And the WHO was identifying the different type of mask to use for these ages and the age group. So I would tell people this morning that a cloth mask will not cut it on your face, even though the Ministry of Health in this country is saying that if you cannot afford a mask to buy, you can cut a T-shirt and put it on, Kenrick. That is rubbish. That is total rubbish. I think the Minister of Health needs to apologize to the country for telling them to do that in the earlies of this pandemic. Now, when I spoke about wearing face shield a couple of weeks ago, and then I spoke about it, people didn't like the idea. Today you are hearing that the government of the day, the Ministry of Health and the CMO has given their blessings that if you have a respiratory illness and you cannot wear such mask, you can wear a face shield. Because in the early when I started to wear a face shield, people didn't want me in their business. I'm just telling you this for you to understand the level of thinking that people have in this country. So now we have deaths rising. We have the number of cases active is being shown to us. We are in a bad situation, Kendrick. It's not to say that we are getting there. We are in already a bad situation. And the behavior of people in this country will just send this thing to more panic in the future, because when you see we're going to run out of beds soon, we may run out of spaces to bring people in, then the next question is, I think what I was saying before, that you have to get a medical clearance before you leave a country to come here prior to the day you're traveling. All of these things, what I have said before, Kendrick, is coming to pass. And then very soon to come, if COVID-19 does not disappear by the snap of the finger, we may have to get a medical passport if we have to travel to conduct business to other countries shortly. So I'm seeing all of these things that I spoke about is coming to pass, which is good. Maybe I should be with the Ministry of Health, giving them some information that they could work with. But you know what? Paul the coolie fellas out of the Cambridge Bridge, they want to hear me. But nevertheless, but we are in a bad situation, Kendrick, and I just want to tell people there's many places right now, they are doing this heat scan on you, the heat check, the temperature check, which is good. But then again, I want to ask the question, if somebody checks your temperature anyway to enter a building and they see that you have a high temperature, what does they do? Do they allow you to leave that compound and go elsewhere? Or will they call the relevant authorities and give them your number plate of your vehicle to find you, to actually bring you in for a test to see if you have something such of the disease? So, Karen, there are a lot of questions involved, but people need to change their habit and their thinking in this country. Have a good one.
Well, thank you. Well, in essence, what you're talking about, Larry, is for the Ministry of Education, and by extension, the Ministry of Health, to embark on an educational campaign as to the wearing of masks and what sort of mask should be worn by, let's say, elderly and children and what have you. But according to Terence Dial Singh, the Minister of Health, he said that's at the briefing. The Minister of Health, Terence Dial Singh, said the new health regulations are not limited to masks. He said the latest health regulations were not to force people to wear masks, but to regulate behavior, so people would be encouraged to cover their faces. Yes, it's about to regulate the behavior of people, because since the month of March and April, the Ministry of Health would have been embarking on what you call moral suasion for people to behave in a particular way. We have not behaved in a particular way, hence we are seeing the figures in front of us. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Mr. Kenwick, and all the listeners and callers.
Good morning, Mr. Belmont.
Now, I'm hearing you all on the COVID and so on. I appreciate everything that is being said. And as you talk about Dr. Dilal Singh, I said I must give you a call. Because Mr. Dilal Singh also said yesterday, in relation to the domestic violence, that 9 women were killed for this year, or as a result of domestic violence, and they must put a stopping to that. And he said a lot of things. But you know, he didn't say what he's supposed to be saying, in my opinion. In my opinion, he should be talking about these mentally ill people that killing the wives and the women and stuffing them in latrine pits, and when they kill the woman, they go and tell the mother, look, I just killed your daughter. These are sick people, and Dilal Singh cannot see that these are sick people. The mental torture that these people go through before they kill, if they are being taken care of, if they are tested and put in a place and treated, they wouldn't kill. So I am sorry for the victim. Look, the Venezuelan woman. She came here in search of a better life. She ended up inside a latrine pit. It's mad people doing these things, and unless and until the authorities, I'm sorry for the Moko disturbing. And I say that all the time. And
sorry to cut you off, Mr. Belmont, but you have a parrot in the back that is giving me a real problem here this morning. The parrot is making more noise than I can even hear your contribution. I'm sorry about that. But you're making some very important point here, talking about the fact that a number of women would have been killed this year. Domestic violence is real, people, yes, especially against elderly, especially against children and women in this country. And as I alluded to you this morning, one psychologist is calling on the people of Trinidad and Tobago that if you observe any of your relatives or friends displaying any signs that they could or may commit suicide, well then you need to reach out to them. Let's take this call on the line. All right, I'm sorry to miss your call. You need to call us back at 6367547 227-5739. Yeah, we would have lined up this morning Dr. Varma Diyal Singh, a senator, an independent senator, to get his thoughts on domestic violence, but he would have declined. We'll try to get him during the week. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning to you, Chris.
You know what I wonder this morning, Ken?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what's happening that was written with the golden pen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the golden pen?
Yes. It was just part of the PNM's campaign.
Yes, because everything seemed to have gone haywire after the election. So I want to know if this golden pen, is the pen causes or the kind of ink it has in the pen.
Well, let me provoke you and ask a question of you and the listening audience this morning, Chris. What do you think are some of the contributing factors towards the spike in coronavirus in this country since the end of the election? What are some of the factors?
Let me explain something to you. We have to understand, you have been making the statement. People drive recklessly, people have defective vehicles, bad tires, and the government know. To put it right, they had to introduce laws and have sanctions. How much you have to pay for this, pay for that, driving alcohol. Everything started to run straight. Why it is something so important as the health of this country? You know the people are people who don't take no moral suasion. You have to take the big stick. And you say, you know, we're not going to introduce no law, moral suasion. Crap! We know what will have happened. But you wait till after the election. You have freedom, you know? You have freedom. And after the election, say, hey, here what we done. You have $1,000 and $2,000. Why? You feel that the people wouldn't vote for you if you came down with a big stick? Is it that all your concern was to get back in government? I mean, face the facts. Why did you in the beginning introduce a $50 fine? That to create a consciousness, an awareness. Rather than wait now when things get out of hand, 1,000, 2,000, who? How many people have $1,000 to pay? Well, they got to find you. They got to find it. But why did we get there and how did we get there? These people who sit up there and make decisions, they're intelligent people, they're not stupid people. They're not stupid like me. They're smart, they're intelligent. They sit in the highest office in the land. So I am asking them, you know what this country is about. You know how the people behave. You know very well all this moral suasion crap would not have made a difference. But you wait that the country is to a point. We are breaking point and you say, okay, $1,000, $2,000. Waste of time. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much, Chris, for your contribution here with us this morning. Well, this morning we woke up to the news too that BPTT, well, they will be cutting staff. The energy company would have given the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, that news. 25% from local operations may be sent home. VP says firm in middle of restructuring, and this all as a result of COVID-19. Business have started to dwindle. Some businesses would have closed. I spoke to an operator of a bar yesterday, a good friend of mine, and he too would have lamented that he would have lost thousands of dollars within the last couple of weeks. And yet you have these landlords still calling on this group of people to pay their rent and what have you. And despite having conversation with landlords as to see how best they can challenge the situation, some of them are not budging people. So I understand and I appreciate and I know exactly what is happening outside here. It's a situation that daily we are looking at. We don't know how long this thing will last. I know that a number of stores and even these bigger malls in San Fernando, they have shut their doors and they have sent home their staff. So it's a very frightening situation, and it's taking a toll on the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, let me remind you of this. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says BPTT officials have told him they will soon be cutting 25% or a quarter of their workforce. However, BPTT's Vice President of Corporate Operations, Giselle Thompson, said while cuts are expected to be made, the exact number of jobs that will be affected locally has not been determined as yet. So that story, as I said, you can catch today, but it's a very frightening situation indeed. And former United National Congress Couva North MP Ramona Ramdial has done a blistering post-mortem of the party's general election campaign, pointing fingers squarely at Kamla Persad-Bissessa's leadership to begin moving the party forward from the campaign, which she says was a disaster, and to prepare for government. Ramdial recommends Persad-Bissessa start formal conversation with members of the party. Now, that story, as I said, is something which we would have been looking at, and there would have been calls in various quarters for Kamla Persad-Bissessa to step down. Well, that's another issue for another time. Stay with us here, 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. We're climbing up to the hour of 7 o'clock. It's just about 14 minutes here to the hour of 7, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of a radio, 975 FM Hot Like Pepper.
In the wonderful name of Jesus, my name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, your chachi, your chacha, your grandpa, your grandma. We need to pray for our nation. God bless you. Thank you.
To you, Newsday Classifieds. Take Value Optical to be your partner.
I do.
I now pronounce free eye test from Value Optical for Newsday Classified customers. Call the Newsday Classified reps for more information. You may now kiss the bride.
Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited for all your grocery items, wholesale and retail. At Darpon, you can also transfer money, pay your bills, and also cash your social welfare checks. Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited, located at number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande. They also specialize in real estate, and they also have a special on land at Arena Road, Freeport, for just $165,000 per plot. For further information, call Darban Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited at 267-3063 or 223-0630. Darban Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited of number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations: Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
नबियों के सरदार मोहम्मद नबियों के सरदार
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and the blessings of Almighty Allah be upon each and every one of you. My name is Shazad Ali, and here's an invitation to join me every weekday morning 5 o'clock for the program Teachings of Islam right here on U97.5 FM. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Now, this tragic death of this young woman, Joanna Diaz Sanchez, would have grabbed the headlines over the weekend. And psychologists in this country would have called on women in particular to be very conscious of relationship they foster with people, especially men. And according to the story is saying that the suspect in this matter would have been a cocaine addict. And my good friend here from Belmont always speak about this. The cocaine trade in Trinidad and Tobago is certainly having an effect on the people of this country. Domestic violence. So my call this morning is to a woman outside there to be very, very careful as to the sort of relationship you foster with people, especially young men who behave in a particular way. Be very, very conscious indeed. I can tell you why, because there could be repercussions. And one psychologist is signaling to us this morning, or rather calling on the people of Trinidad and Tobago, that if you have friends or family members who are showing signs of wanting to commit suicide, well, then you need to reach out to them, ensure that they get proper counseling and so on. This is what she said. Khan said there are several signs that people could look out for, the most obvious of which is when people talk about hurting themselves or ending their lives. And I'm sure that many of you outside here listening to me would have been in conversation with people who would have told you on many occasions of their feelings and how what is happening in and around their home, the relationship they are involved in, and they do not want to live anymore. You need to reach out to those people. You need to counsel them. There are agencies whereby they can get help. But first of all, one must be able to admit that you have a problem. This psychologist, Khatija Khan, is saying, sometimes we like to say culturally that people are looking for attention, and I want us to start taking it more seriously and see it as a cry for help. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Ken,
good morning,
that
Chris.
statement is not new to us, you know.
Well, I know that, Chris. I know that.
Yeah, we have heard that before. We have heard when people start talking suicide, they're actually crying out for help, you know.
Yeah.
They're saying to the people hearing them, hey,
but this brings
help.
But this brings into the discussion, Chris, the role of leaders in the community, church leaders and what have you. I remember many years ago when you go to church or you have any prayer or anything like that at home, the pastor or pundit will come about a half an hour, 45 minutes with you and sit and discuss with you family matters and matters that are affecting your home and whatnot. That is not happening anymore, you know. And given the fact that we have COVID-19 with us, there are many people outside there who are quite frustrated, you know. They cannot make ends meet, and they tend to take their frustration out on the spouse. You would agree with me?
I agree, John Kenrick. Let me tell you something. It starts from the top. You remember years ago, Canada Prime Minister made a statement. A kinder and gentler Canada. He called on all government officials to set the example of kindness and gentleness. Because what happens there actually permeates the society. Tell me what we have in this leadership.
All right.
And I don't mean PNM or UNC. I'm talking about government on a whole in this country. Macho men. Macho men on both sides of the fence. Scoring cheap political points.
But
this is how you grow a country.
But let's look at this situation here. This young lady, Joanna Diaz Sanchez, brutally killed, murdered.
What's she doing drug by?
But the question I'm asking here this morning, I am sure that relatives of this suspect would be aware of his behavior. Why didn't they try to reach out to him? Why?
Exactly. They sit down and they allow it to happen, Kendrick. You know somebody's on cocaine, get help for him
and
or her.
The young would.
If it means you have to call the authorities and say, hey, this one is drug, you know, it's better you go and pick him up and kind him than he stay and kill himself and kill someone. Because don't get away from the fact you'll kill your own mother and father, you know. You see, we make our own problems. No drug addict, whether it be alcohol, cigarette, or marijuana, should be encouraged by everybody. If a person is addicted to any drug, you have to expect anything from them. You understand? You a man who is, I used to smoke. I used to smoke chain smoking. And I myself said, you know what happened? Does that make sense? What kind of respect I can get from people when I smoke inside? One morning I got up, Kendrick, and this is no joke. I take all my cigarettes. I told my wife, I said, throw it away. What? I keep it for you. Me? I don't smoke. You could never stop smoking. Ready? Watch me. I stop smoking, you know. When I go by my brother, where's cigarette? What cigarette? You never out a cigarette your hand. I stop smoking. You could never stop smoking. Ready? I stopped just that and I ain't gone back in.
No, but
Nobody can't tell me that they can't stop smoking.
No, but with this situation here, as I said to you, Chris, the woman would have been in a very traumatic relationship, an on and off a relationship. And I am sure that there are people outside there who would have been aware of what is happening in this relationship, but would have refused to help or turn a blind eye.
Yes, and she too has some responsibility. You know this man is on cocaine. You know this man has bad tendencies. What are you doing next to him? You waiting for him to come to the point where you're killing?
Well, it would have reached that sooner or later, because he would have
And the right to say the relatives and family of the addict should take action and really care about them.
Because he would have accused her of infidelity and what have you, and they would have been in a very abusive relationship. At times, she would have tried to walk out of the relationship, but she returned.
Well, I wouldn't say she was, having a relationship. But if she did, she had a right because we are cocaine. We could go a woman.
No, but the point I'm making
was to walk into the police station.
My contention here is this: there are relatives, family members, friends who ought to know of the situation. Why didn't they help? Why didn't they try to reach out to the man or reach out to the woman?
As you rightly say, it's a blind eye, and that's it, and they'll come and cry crocodile tears after. Let be a lesson for trying to do, Let be a lesson that if you don't look after your own, you're going to lose them.
All right, I hear you. Well, this is what the part of a story is saying here this morning. Her only mistake was to partake, or rather participate in an abusive relationship, perhaps in search rather of that security and stability that any woman wants. Security and stability in a relationship that is abusive. Come on, people, we need to be serious in this country. We need to be serious. We're heading up to the 7 o'clock hour. We'll take the 7 o'clock newscast with Nicole Duki, and then we'll come back with our conversation. But I have this caller here on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Kenrick. Morning.
Hi, good morning to you, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good, man. You know, Kenrick, if the law used to deal with these people when you make a report, things probably would have changed in this place now. Think about what I'm saying. There's numerous times I show people is going to make reports.
Well, no, but hold on. Two things happening here. One, we don't know whether the woman would have made any report to the relevant authorities. That is one. And two, we don't know whether or not she's documented or undocumented. So we have those scenarios. Go ahead.
Kenrick, my point is, right? Okay, if you set that, all right, let me use the speeding gun they bring in the country to give tickets, right? Right. You notice how much people, there's a drastic drop in speeding in the highway. Yes, there are people who will still speed, but an example was set. This is the problem. If it is that these people are, let me say, this person didn't do it, but have other people who did it make reports, and there was results out of the report. This person might say, people must be saying, it didn't make no sense because the police wouldn't do nothing. But if there was an example, if things was working out in the law system in this country, and cases are being tried and not waiting for years and years, things would have been different. The problem is government. Government does make rules only to benefit them, not the people. Thanks.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your contribution here with me this morning. No, well, first of all, police can only act based on a report. And if there are no reports, well, then the police cannot act. And I am saying to you and the listening audience here this morning, people who are living in abusive relationship, walk away. Walk away. There's help outside there. Walk away. Make a report to the police. Continue to make reports to the police. Stay away. Walk away. But according to information this morning, is that the young woman would have tried on many occasions to walk away from the relationship. So it's a very traumatic one indeed. I don't know. The rate of domestic violence continues in Trinidad and Tobago. And we can see more and more incidents like these because people are very frustrated outside there, Very, very frustrated. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5.
Mr. Connect, Belmont again.
Good morning, Belmont.
I agree, walk away. But don't believe they don't try to walk away. And when you go to the police, what the police do? Police cannot do anything. The police must have powers to get a mental officer to go and view the situation and assess the assailant or the possible assailant, the man who threatened to kill the woman and who the woman running from. Have that man evaluated by the same Dr. Dilal Singh and whoever he sent, and see if the man needs some treatment and what kind of drugs he taking, and try and win him off the drugs and try to help the man. The man needs help too. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Well, I agree with you, Mr. Belmont. The man needs help. But first of all, he has to reach out to that for that help. If he does not reach out, what will happen? A police officer cannot be what you call a mental health officer. He need, people who display these signs and symptoms need help. And sometimes as family members, you turn a blind eye, hoping that good sense would prevail, but it really does not, Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
I agree with Mr. Belmont, but I'll tell you something. What the psychologists or psychiatrists are calling for that observe as members of the public, they wait for the train to reach halfway across the journey to try to rectify an engine problem or defect. The problem should be in the primary school. There should be counselors in the primary school, and you will see children's behavior and fix them, and you see children's behavior and know what's happening in the home and fix that. You don't wait until the train reaches halfway down the track to fix a defect in the engine. And this is the problem in society. We always wait for the last when everything gone haywire, and then we jump in and say we are doing this, do that. We're too reactive. We're not proactive at all. And I have been saying I've been in the system as a teacher. Children come out and display all the characteristics of being abused, of home abuse, of parent abuse, of parents who are not right in the thinking and behavior. All teachers know it. You have family in the teaching service and they tell you they see it in the child, but what can they do? Little bit they could do. Try to console the child, give the child some love and care. That is all they could do.
All right, let's leave it there for the hour now, Chris. We need to head up to the 7 o'clock newscast. And when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion. 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 975 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for major news to the hour. It comes to you with the very kind compliments of Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Lisha Limited, the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday, and Darpan Trading Company Limited.
This is the 7 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Nicole Dookie. Good morning. 70% of students will begin classes today. Teachers have been preparing for the past week to engage them with online interaction or from the distribution of printed material. Full teaching is expected across primary and secondary schools as well as the University of the West Indies on September 14th. Education Minister Dr. Nayan Gatsby Dolly has issued an online video message on Sunday. She assured that no one will be left out.
It will be a different start for everyone. Some will be engaged online, and that's a new environment. and some of you will be receiving printed materials. And I know, parents, that we can feel a little worried, a little anxious about how this whole term is going to evolve. And those of you whose children are not online, you can feel even more anxious because you feel as though your child might be left out. I want to remind you that even if you are not online, preparations will be made for you by your teachers.
Minister Gatsby Dolly urged all parents to keep in contact with their children's teachers constantly, especially those children who are unable to utilize the online learning option.
I would encourage all of us parents, to keep in contact with our teachers. And sometimes we have a parents' WhatsApp group that can give us good hints as to what's happening, what should be going on, and that's really useful for busy parents like me and like many of you. And if you are not at home to supervise your children, then we can use the village approach. Who is at home? Do we have older siblings, grandparents, someone that can help us? Because we are going to need help, because it truly takes a village to raise a child.
This country recorded another COVID-19 death on Sunday. This now takes the death toll to 34. An additional 20 cases were reported by the Ministry of Health for all of Sunday. 7 persons were discharged. Active cases are currently at 1,492. Since the start of the pandemic, there have been 2,250 cases of the virus in Trinidad and Tobago. 724 of those persons have fully recovered. In its 10 a.m. update on Sunday, the Ministry of Health noted 1,326 active patients are currently under home isolation. An 84-year-old man was among a group of 12 citizens who were charged for breaching the public health regulations over the weekend. The 12 were arrested and charged for the offense of gathering of more than 5 people in a public space. They were arrested in 2 separate incidents at bars located on the Turuba Road and Union Road in Marabella. The owner of one of the bars was also charged with aiding and abetting. She was released on $15,000 bond, while the other 11 suspects were granted bail in the amount of $10,000 and will appear at the San Fernando Magistrates Court on November 10th. Meanwhile, 9 men were arrested and jointly charged for the offense of the gathering of more than 5 people in a public space during an anti-crime exercise conducted in Sangre Grande on Friday. They are all from northeastern settlement Sangre Grande. The suspects were granted station bail in the amount of $500 and are due to appear at the Sangre Grande Magistrates Court on October 2nd. You are listening to the 7 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. It's time now to take a look at regional and international developments. Regionally, the Minister of Agriculture, Lands, Housing and the Environment in Montserrat has made an appeal for citizens to assist increasing the island's avocado production. This came in a recent social media post. He said the ministry is on a drive to collect 500 avocado seeds this season. The minister urged the public not to throw away their avocado seeds, but to instead wash them and drop them off at the agriculture nursery in braids. He believes that this could help Montserrat secure its avocado production in years to come. Internationally, India has recorded more than 90,000 new cases of COVID-19 in the past 24 hours, taking its total above that of Brazil. The country now has the second largest number of confirmed cases in the world, 4,204,613. It has reported 71,642 deaths, the third highest in the world. The surge in reported infections has mostly come from 5 states. The rise comes as the government continues to lift restrictions to try to boost an economy that lost millions of jobs when the virus hit in March. For the last 7 days, India's caseload has galloped, adding more than 75,000 daily infections. In news of the weather for the period today until midnight, Trinidad, Tobago and the southern windwards are generally hot and sunny with showery spells in a few areas. Night will be mostly clear. The remainder of the Lesser Antilles, partly cloudy spells with showers are expected in varying localities. Conditions will improve during the afternoon with showers occurring in a few areas during the night. Seas are slight to moderate, with waves 1 meter to 1.5 meters in open waters and near calm in sheltered areas. The current temperature is 24 degrees Celsius. And this brings us to the end of the 7 a.m. newscast on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Stay tuned for another newscast at 8 a.m. I am Nicole Dookie. Good morning.
Well, thank you very much, Nicole, for that 7 o'clock newscast. It's just about 9 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Let's go to our commercials here this morning, and when we come back, we'll continue with the second hour of today's edition of the morning program. Stay with us here, 975. Note that at around 7:30, I'll be presenting to you a very special feature as it relates to COVID-19. So, that and much more on 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liquor, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liquor, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. For all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited for all your grocery items, wholesale and retail. At Darpon, you can also transfer money, pay your bills, and also cash your social welfare checks. Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited, located at number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande. They also specialize in real estate, and they also have a special on land at Arena Road, Freeport, for just $165,000 per plot. For further information, call Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited at 267-3063 or 223-0630. Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited of number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations: Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited for all your grocery items, wholesale and retail. At Darpon, you can also transfer money, pay your bills, and also cash your social welfare checks. Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited, located at number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande. They also specialize in real estate, and they also have a special on land at Arena Road, Freeport, for just $165,000 per plot. For further information, call Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited at 267-3063 or 223-0630. Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited of number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for choosing us here at 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, as we continue with the second hour of today's edition of the morning program. It's just about 15 minutes here past the, or rather 14 minutes here past the hour of 7 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind KDC of a radio, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Well, we've been talking this morning about COVID-19 and also too about domestic violence. The number of cases of domestic violence continues to catch the attention of people of Trinidad and Tobago, and more so to the authorities, more so in light of this recent gruesome killing of this young lady. And I want to play this selection for you, and I think it is important that this selection sinks in with you, the people outside there, especially women who are living or who are in relationship that is very traumatic indeed. Listen to this.
You went and you put gold ring on she hand. You boasting in tongue that you wish she man. She say that you love, she boasting with joy. She give you a baby boy. Little did she know you wanted a man. Your next lady friend couldn't make the grade. Now she sit down and wondering what to do. How to get away. How to get away. How to get away from you. Child has run away. Gold has run away. Woman's captors run away when you're treating them bad. Cold has run away. Dog has run away. What happened to you? Woman, you could run away too. Get out. You went and you put gold teeth in she mouth. As all you get vexed, you coughing it out. You making she shame all over the place. Man, you is a damn disgrace. Not even to church now she cannot go. She beg for little love, you telling she no. She frightened like hell to make up a plan. How to get away? How to get away? How to get away from you? Daughters run away. Child has run away. Woman's captors run away when man treating them bad. Boulders run away. Daughters run away. Don't sit down and scream. Woman, put two wheels on your heels. Get out. If she brings you friends to visit the house, you insulting she, you calling them low. If she talk to Craig, you say she with him, like she is a slut puppy. Morning, noon, and night, you blowing she mind. You bringing she all out before she time. 7 years you living in misery. Woman run away. Woman run away. Woman run away from
that calypso there was by singing Francine. I think that was recorded sometime back in the 1970s, and it's very appropriate given what we are seeing in Trinidad and Tobago, where a number of people are living in abusive relationship, and for some reason or the other, they continue to stick with that relationship, and as a result of such, you have a situation developing where people are losing their lives and so on. It's a situation which is attracting the attention of not only the government of Trinidad and Tobago, but stakeholders indeed. Singing Francine, and she's saying to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, most of you, to women who are living in abusive relationship, to walk away, run away. Cat does run away, dog does run away. What's wrong with some of you people outside there? Move away, walk away, walk away. It's my mantra, and it's my message to you, especially young women outside there who are in a very abusive relationship indeed. Walk away, seek help. 20 minutes here past the hour of 7 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of a radio, 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. All right, I'm sorry to have missed your call. You need to call us back here. Now, I read with interest the thoughts and comments coming from Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley over the weekend in an interview as published in one of the newspaper. And I just want to share this with you here this morning, just in case it would have escaped some of you. The question was posed to him: how has COVID-19 affected our economy? Many gas-based industries in Point Lisa appear to have mothballed their plants. This is Dr. Keith Rowley's response. COVID has hit us hard, shrinking our economy by 10%, even as we continue to support our hardest hit citizens at a big cost. As an oil and gas producer, our production and sale of oil has dropped globally. COVID-19 came at a time when our oil and gas prices were already softening and had the effect to further reducing consumption of methanol, urea, ammonia, LNG, oil and gas. It was a perfect storm. Some plants in Point Lisa have shut down. Just today, I was advised by BP Trinidad they are reducing their staff by 25%. All gas and oil markets are experiencing the same thing due to reduced demand. Thousands of planes are on the ground. Fewer cars are moving about. So that's the grim situation which Dr. Rowley and his government, well, they are aware of. So how do we move forward from here? How do we move forward? Well, I'm not a policy maker. I'm not a decision maker. But I can tell you the budget of 2020 and 2021 is something which stakeholders will be looking at quite with interest, of course. And last week I would have spoken to former Energy Minister Kevin Ramnarine, who would have indicated that we are in for some very tough times ahead, people. 2 or 3 years, very tough times indeed, and we need all stakeholders on board to deal with the situation here in Trinidad and Tobago. This is not a governmental problem anymore. This is a national problem. So we need everyone on board. We need all hands on deck to deal with the situation. Similarly too, with COVID-19, the government of the day cannot do everything. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service cannot do everything. The government of the day is there to make policy. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is to ensure that these laws are enforced. But what is the responsibility of you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago? What is your responsibility? You need to adhere to the guidelines. And I listened to the Education Minister, Dr. Nyan Gadsby Dolly, and she was saying, given the circumstances or given the scenario, given the challenges in trying to educate the young minds outside here, that is our children, both at the secondary and primary level and even at the tertiary level, it's quite challenging indeed. And she would have made the point that if as parents you have to work and to put food on the table, to provide all the necessary infrastructure for your children, and these children need help, well, the village, or rather the environment, should actually make an input, that is to say, to help out with the situation. But given what we are seeing in Trinidad and Tobago, I know that some parents, they're a bit reluctant to even leave their children with anyone, and rightly so at times. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. All right, I'm sorry to miss your call. 636-7547, 227-5739. Well, last week too, a number of questions or a number of callers would have asked us to what is happening with Petrotrin, the sale of Petrotrin and so on. That is the refinery. Well, this question too was also put to Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, and he would have addressed it in this manner. He said, Patriotic made us the best offer and was selected. We are currently working out contractual arrangements on which the outcome will depend. They are close, but it's not finalized. Last August, a thorough review of Petrotrin revealed an $815 million US debt. We had to either pay the debt or refinance it, and couldn't do so without severe financial consequences to the Treasury. Restructuring allowed us to create the Heritage Petroleum Company Limited, which is servicing that debt without a government guarantee, paying the taxes to the country and making a profit over $1 billion. The downside was we had to close the refinery. The upside to that was we saved the national financial economy. The thoughts there of Dr. Keith Rowley. It's a very interesting interview because Dr. Rowley would have touched on a number of areas of concern. 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Note that a bit later on I'll be chatting with, let me see if I can get the information here with you, Dr. Ruberi Victor, who is the founder of the Artist Coalition of Trinidad and Tobago. Remember, because of COVID-19, a number of, let's say, businesses would have closed their doors, and reasons would have been outlined for such, given the pandemic, and a number of artists, because of all of the restrictions, a number of artists, the entertainment industry is now in limbo, and even the matter concerning Carnival 2021, no decision to have been made as to whether Carnival 2021 will be held or not. No decision. There are conversation continuing with various stakeholders. So it is interesting that we talk to those in the know to get their thoughts on this matter. 975 FM Hot Like Pepper, 27 minutes here past the hour of 7 o'clock. Let's go to some commercials, and when I come back, we'll continue with our discussion. Stay with us here, 975.
Wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, your chachi, your chacha, your grandpa, your grandma. We need to pray for our nation. God bless you. Thank you.
Praise Him, praise Him. नबियों के सरदार मोहम्मद, नबियों के सरदार.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and the blessings of Almighty Allah be upon each and every one of you. My name is Shazad Ali, and here's an invitation to join me every weekday morning, 5 o'clock, for the program Teachings of Islam, right here on U97.5 FM. Assalamu alaikum.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liquor, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liquor, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you. Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Caricare International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rocha Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
This is Samaru Ramru inviting you on a journey down memory lane with enchanting songs on the program Nightline, Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let your heart sing along with the music on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Newsday Classifieds. Take Value Optical to be your partner.
I do.
I do.
I now pronounce free eye test from Value Optical for Newsday Classified customers. Call the Newsday Classified reps for more information. You may now kiss the bride.
Well, it's just about 7:30 here in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, and you're with the most interactive morning program on the airwaves of Trinidad and Tobago, You Talk. And as part of our mantra here is to keep you informed and to keep you abreast of all of the developments taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. COVID-19 is with us, people. Yes, COVID-19. Already we would have recorded 34 deaths in this country. And the number of positive cases remains at 2,250. Tests submitted 25,941. Discharge 724. Global positive cases. This is what I want you to be mindful of. Global positive cases 27,283,717. Global death toll 887,305. To this end, us here at 975 is being as a responsible media house. It is important that we keep you informed, and as such I want to present this feature for you. It's all related to COVID-19.
It's now time for your COVID-19 feature on U975, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. It's coming to you with the kind compliments of Balo Engineering, Construction and Maintenance Services Limited.
Education unlocked as more and more schools open their gates. Whilst coronavirus poses very little risk to children's health, it's important to avoid outbreaks spreading in schools. So this raises the question, how to spot the infection in the young. At present, you can get a coronavirus test if you display any of the following symptoms: a high temperature, a new continuous cough, or loss of taste or smell. Researchers, though, have found that in children, a huge variety of other symptoms may indicate a COVID-19 infection. These include headache, fatigue, sore throat, loss of appetite, skin rashes, diarrhea, and vomiting. The trouble is, these can also apply to a whole range of other ailments. Researchers in Belfast believe the testing criteria for children need to be widened.
So based on the data that we found, I think that gastrointestinal symptoms of diarrhea and vomiting in particular should be added to the testing strategy for children. I think we can reassure families that symptoms such as a sniffly nose, so sneezing or a blocked nose, it's not associated with COVID-19, and those children shouldn't need a test.
Hand hygiene, face masks and year group bubbles will help minimize the risk of coronavirus spreading. But if children are under the weather, What will parents do?
If my child didn't seem right at all, then I'd just keep him in and seek medical advice.
Take a temperature and then probably phone 111. In this current circumstances, I would certainly phone 111.
Around 4 million people are using the COVID Symptoms Tracker app from King's College London. The team say the signs of coronavirus infection are so varied in children, parents should err on the side of caution.
It's important for parents to, if their child is unwell, off their food, non-specific, keep them away from school until they start feeling better. That way, we're likely to cut down any potential infections, even if the risk is small.
Good morning.
The Department of Health says scientists advising them keep COVID symptoms under review. One thing experts agree on is that just a runny nose is not a reason to keep a child off school.
That was your COVID-19 feature on U975 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. It was brought to you courtesy Ballo Engineering, Construction and Maintenance Services Limited.
Indeed, and thank you very much to Ballo Engineering Company Limited for partnering with us here at 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. It's just about 26 minutes here to the hour of 8 o'clock. And that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Let's go to some commercials. And of course, when I come back, I'm lining up to interview this morning the founder of the Artists Coalition of Trinidad and Tobago, Robadiri Victor. That should be a very interesting conversation indeed. So stay with us here. That and much more happening on 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Stay with us.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you. Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Caricare International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rocha Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations, Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
Gosh boy,
I can't wait to go home now.
Stuck in traffic again, Hare Bapri.
Well, guess what? Your day is about to get hotter than ever in the afternoon. It's the new afternoon drive time program on You 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Tune in Monday to Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. with yours truly, the DJ Flavia Experience. Let's make it hotter than ever in the afternoon. Great music, great info, and great vibes. Hotter than ever in the afternoon. Monday to Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. on You 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
Join me every Sunday for Love Vibrations from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. featuring all your favorite love songs from every decade and the most powerful quotes ever written. You can send your shout-outs. WhatsApp 378-4975, or you can simply call 636-7547 or 227-5739, or go online to www.975radio.com. It's hosted by yours truly, DJ Shaw, on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
I found a love for me.
Yes, indeed, and thanks for staying with us here at 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper. We're moving up to the hour of 7 o'clock. Just about 20 minutes here to the hour of 7. Well, with me on the line now is Rubaduri Victor, who is the founder of the Artist Coalition of Trinidad and Tobago. I just want to get his thoughts on the impact COVID-19 is having on this sector, this fraternity. So let's take him live on air. Good morning, Mr. Victor, and thanks for taking our call this morning.
Sure, no problem.
Well, certainly COVID-19, it has affected all facets of life in Trinidad and Tobago, and I would imagine even in the world.
Yeah.
The organization of which you are the founder, the Artists Coalition of Trinidad and Tobago. I know that the government of Trinidad and Tobago would have taken some sort of measures to bring some sort of relief to artists in this country. Walk us through this organization, the Artists Coalition of Trinidad and Tobago, when it was founded, what's its mandate and what's its objective, of which you are no doubt an integral factor in.
Well, the Artists Coalition of Trinidad and Tobago emerged at the end of the 90s. At that time, it was called the Entertainment Industry Coalition. It was myself, Tony Hall, the late Tony Hall, and Michael Sherry in 1997. We took time out. We stopped being artists for a year and became activists. I assembled all the kind of demands that were from all the different artist groups all over the country into one kind of master plan, mother plan. Tony pursued a Caribbean Foundation, We Art, and Michael Sherry pursued an artists union. After the end of that year, they returned to their practice, but I decided to kind of continue. The reason being that I had seen two generations of artists who were my friends and mentors. They were dying, and their legacies were being destroyed and disappeared. And I'd seen the suffering of artists and stuff, and I was seeing it happening in my generation, and I didn't want it to happen again for another generation again. And I thought with the information that I had compiled, and as a student of history studying strategies of activism, I thought that if I gave it a shot, we might have a chance of getting some of the things done that would kind of change the landscape. And it's 20 years later, and I would say we won 5% of our battles. The thing is, though, in trade union and NGO movements, 5% is a lot, right? People say, wow, only 5%? But I know you can't get into a junior sec with 5%. I mean, the thing is that 5% is not a nice quartile of success to live your life in.
All right, but Mr. Rubadiri, Victor, tell me something briefly here this morning. The role, the objective of this organization is to really come to the assistance of artists, yes, to present the infrastructure, to present avenues whereby they can empower themselves and
there's
build
an
capacity.
enabling environment that exists for any creative industry to exist. There needs to be a basic enabling environment made up of policy, institutions, legislation. And most of these things have been in place all over the planet since the 1920s. Those things have been put in place. Things like national arts councils, proper heritage institutions and legislation. In a second wave, things like proper broadcast code, which include things like quotas, local content quotas, those kinds of things. Since the 1920s, a lot of these things are put in place. And the reason why right now on the planet, the creative industries are the second largest industry on planet Earth, making $2.2 trillion a year. And it's probably more, during this COVID time, and ironically enough, is because of these enablers that have been put in place. But our politicians have stubbornly refused to put into place these basic enablers like the Arts Council. We finally won some of the heritage thing, meaning that buildings are protected and that kind of stuff, but the larger parts of it are not put in place yet. The quota legislation, they're still balking at the quota legislation because certain party financiers don't want it to happen, and those kinds of things. So we cannot monetize the talent we have on the ground. So for the last 20 years, the world has gone through a phenomenal renaissance, economic boom as regards the creative sectors, outstripped manufacturing, the extractive industries by plenty, right? Those are frozen. Those industries have been frozen in terms of growth and that kind of stuff. And you're seeing the creative sector with growth rates like in the UK of 10% and those kinds of things. There are video game companies who make more money than oil and gas companies, you know, and that is the nature of the world now. But because we have refused to put those things in place, that revolution has passed us by almost completely.
All right, you talk about putting measures in place and avenues to greater build capacity for the fraternity. Let's look at what is happening or what is presenting itself in front of us today, COVID-19. We would have recorded over 2,250 positive cases already in the year. No doubt the entertainment industry is feeling the impact of such. What are some of the challenges your members are telling you, people who are associated with your organization? What are they telling you, and how best are you prepared to help them given this very challenging environment?
All right. Well, the thing is that we know that all performing arts industries that depend on audiences, indoor and outdoor audiences, have been crippled, right? Because of social distancing, quarantining, and those kinds of things. You can't have mass indoor and outdoor performances, even though there are some solutions. People think like having things in cars, concerts with people coming in cars and tra-la-la. But the thing is that has completely, and what has happened in the last 20 years with the virtualization of content, like music and stuff moving online, its distribution moving online and away from CDs and those kinds of things, it meant that sales has become less of a contributor to the pocket of artists than before, and it's now performance-based. So musicians depend upon the monetization of their career mostly on performance, and now that is vaporized. And so the solutions have to be solutions that put content into virtual settings and then create the context for a virtual marketplace for brand TNT music or brand TNT performance and those kinds of things. So the solutions that we have come up with for the sector and for brand TNT, arts and culture, meaning theater, music, film, and a lot of the performing arts-based things, dance, and those kinds of things, is to build a quotient of virtual content, and the context for that to be, and the marketplace for that to be placed internationally, and we sold internationally. Because the thing is that one of the 3 sets of skills banks and careers that have actually kind of taken off during COVID across the planet has been film, television, virtual content. So film, television, photography-based things, you know, all those kinds of things. There would be e-books and books and content online. Those things, that has kept the world sane, right? People like Netflix and streaming services like Netflix and HBO Max and those kinds of things have received a massive boon during this period because the world has been entertained by virtual content, film, television, especially online theater and those kinds of things.
All right, but
now the thing is, most of that stuff has been by about a handful of American-based corporations, and we have to now diversify that content by putting ourselves out there.
All right, you talk about content and you talk about building capacity and you talk about solutions. We have a new administration in place and a new Minister of Culture and Arts in one, Randall Mitchell. Have you made any, let's say, attempt to have any sort of conversation with him to address concerns facing this fraternity?
The first thing I thought what we needed to do was for the sector to meet post-budget before we approach minister or any powers that be. So we actually had a massive stakeholder meeting this last week, a Zoom meeting where we had Artist Coalition, myself, we had created a master plan based on past consultations that we had done long ago in Bethlehem and some of the things that were emerging in the world and that kind of stuff, and from consultations that were going on during the post-COVID period. We put together a master plan. It was submitted to the post-COVID committee as well as to the Ministry of Finance for consideration for the budget. And so we were having a mass consultation with a lot of leaders of groups and vocal artists this week so that we can arrive at a consensus and kind of boil down the large kind of master plan into like priority areas. Let's like say we choose 7 priority projects. Like government like to boil down things into like, there's where you can't give you money for X, so we give you money for 7 of them. And we say like, okay, if we have to choose 7, what would those 7 be? And so we are now arriving at that stuff, so that we are right now, I'm finishing a report from that meeting. I'm awaiting some submissions from people, homework that people had to do, and from those things we would have a body of things to lobby, to go into the minister of finance and all the others who are necessary, the PM if necessary, to engage the negotiation.
But
right. But by the end of the day, I will probably have a press release going out as well.
Well, share with us this morning. What are some of your concerns? What are some of the challenges? And what are some of the, let's say, solutions, if you can find any, for this sector?
Right.
And what's your hope coming from the budget of 2021, from 2021? What are your hopes?
Right. Well, first of all, there are 3 policy-based things or legislative-based things that cost absolutely no money, but those things release millions of dollars worth of value into the sector that we say that should be done immediately. One is the passing of the local content legislation. So local content legislation says 50% local content on radio and television, and there are certain things like for prime time between 8 and 11, you should have 80%, or on Saturday mornings for children's programming from between 8 to 11 or 9 to 11, you should have 100% local, those kinds of things. So what that forces is it forces competition between the channels and stations, especially between prime time hours and that kind of thing, to find local content. And the local content exists. There's local rock music, jazz music, easy listening, reggae, hip hop, all kinds of stuff that is never played. Thousands and thousands and thousands of songs. So in the television, there's a lot of content that exists But then they also will have to commission content as well. And that's where the economies of scale that is built into sponsors, television stations, and those kinds of advertisers then begins to work for and on behalf of the nation. So they, in the way that's how Ian Allen would take dead air from between 6 and 7 and make it valuable by creating a certain kind of show, which forced other stations now to try and monetize that 6 to 7 period. And so all of a sudden 6 to 7 becomes valuable. That's what will happen to all those primetime hours. So that's one. The other thing is like the regularization of the land tenure of panyards. About 65 to 75% of them are on state lands. So with the signature of a pen, the government can transfer literally hundreds of millions of dollars of wealth into the hands of the root classes and the creative classes, for which they could then barter that value however they see fit. And this program, we won this cabinet note a couple of years ago. It hasn't been enacted. And it comes with seminars and that kind of stuff and workshops to upgrade the capacity of the management of these panyards and those kinds of things. And yeah, so there's a National Arts Council in the PNM manifesto, which is something they've resisted for the last 20 years plus. And we're happy to see it there because that is a basic mainstay of creative industries all over planet Earth. You have to have consistent annual or bi-monthly grant funding for all these separate forms of art that is accessible and transparent. And that is that seed capital is the basis for the wealth and the innovation of the sector. But, knowing that
Mr. Victor,
that doesn't exist at the moment.
But Mr. Victor, you talk about funding, and the government of the day would have made some sort of attempt to bring some sort of relief to artists, to this sector. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it was important. I think those kind of welfare payments, most governments who had the wherewithal all over the world did that for large tracts of people. That the thing is that there were post-COVID payouts to the country. A lot of people would have been able to receive grants and those kinds of things. The thing is how those grants were constructed, the kinds of things that were necessary for people to get letters from employers, tralala, all those different kinds of things. It meant that most of the people in the creative sector could not engage those grants. Simply because of how the sector is set up on those kinds of things. Many of the prerequisites could not be met by people of the creative sector. So it meant that the creative sector could not get it. So the government created a separate grant of $5,000 for the creative sector, which it still had some hoops to jump through. So some people have received that. Again, large tracts of the sector still haven't received anything, hats off that, there have been portions of the sector that have been able to receive between the two sets of the general grant for the country and then the specific $5,000 grant. And then, of course, there's a small business stuff that goes up, I think that's $300,000, where the government provides basically the security and that kind of stuff, and for the loan payment, which you can take to banks and those kinds of things. So there are a couple things in place, but what needs to be put in place are industrial things, that simple shifts to the left or the right, which can retool the sector for the specific needs of the exact moment. So one of the projects that we have is something based upon like the Horace James Play of the Month model, where where we want to migrate a set of the theatrical content, plays and those kinds of things, to television content, to create a generation of television and film programs at low budget, to to then become monetized on a streaming service online, a Brand TNT streaming service and Brand TNT content online.
All right,
so this would be
Mr. Victor. My final question to you here this morning is this: looking into the immediate future for the industry going forward, and taking into consideration too that no decision has been taken as yet as to the hosting of Carnival 2021, what do you see in the future for this sector?
Right. So Carnival 2021 actually is the launching pad for us in terms of all the content that and programs that the low-hanging fruit priority programs. We stand to lose 650 million to 1.1 billion is how much foreign exchange is brought in by Carnival. That's attendance of 55,000 visitors, right? So that's not going to happen. We're not going to have 55,000 visitors. There's not going to be a live Carnival spectacle. But Notting Hill showed us that it is possible to have a virtual Carnival, 2 days of streaming of prepackaged content, and Kess's live thing also gives us another clue in as to what is possible and those kinds of things. We are saying 55,000 visitors versus 55 million eyes. There are 300 Trinidad-style carnivals on planet Earth, most in metropolitan, wired areas of the world. We can bring those eyes to us during those 2 days of the year. If we curate the content for the streaming, what we stream on those 2 days, because the carnivals, the 300 Trinidad-style carnivals of the world are going to be looking at us, plus all the other niche markets and plus all the other things. If we are clever, if we say we bring in a Nicki Minaj, all our brands and stuff from all over the world during that period, we can drive 55 million plus eyes to ourselves during that 2 days. And if we curate the content properly, we can create brand launch vehicles and platforms during those 2 days for Brand TNT content to then engage the marketplace and take over the world. And that's what this period is supposed to be. So the things that we are pushing in the program, in our priority programs, have to do with getting all the architecture of all those things in place to build. First of all, we have to have the legalities in place, the rights and all those things in place, ownerships, all those kinds of things, because once you go virtual, you have to have all your policing, all your rights and stuff in place. And then also the platforms, the tech and those kinds of things, the banking platforms to be able to monetize and make payments and all those different kinds of things and receive payments. And then also the back end of all the people who have to put product up there. Do they have their websites in order? Do they have their payloads in order? Do they have all those things in order?
Okay.
And then the product.
Okay.
To create product that has the capacity to capture the world's attention.
Okay, Mr. Victor, we're going to have to leave it there for the hour, but thank you very much for taking the time off to chat with us this morning. We'll talk again in the immediate future, my friend. Thank you very much for being part of the program. Yes. You would have been able to share some thoughts with us and given us some very informative discussions indeed. Thank you very much for being with us this morning. Thank you very much.
All right, cheers.
That's the voice there of founder of the Artists Coalition of Trinidad and Tobago, Aruba Duri Victor, sharing some thoughts with us this morning. Moving forward, you're looking at Carnival 2021. According to him, virtual Carnival is the way to go in 2021. Stay with us here, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 975 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
New 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, multicultural radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for major news to the hour. It comes to you with the very kind compliments of Super Quality Supermarket. Sheikh Leisha Limited, the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday, and Darpan Trading Company Limited.
This is the 8 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Nicole Dookie. Good morning. This country recorded another COVID-19 death on Sunday. This now takes the death toll to 34. An additional 20 cases were reported by the Ministry of Health for all of Sunday. 7 persons were discharged. Active cases are currently 1,492. Since the start of the pandemic, there have been 2,250 cases of the virus in Trinidad and Tobago. 724 of those persons have fully recovered. In its 10 a.m. report on Sunday, the Ministry of Health noted 1,326 active patients are currently under home isolation. 70% of students will begin classes today. Teachers have spent the past week preparing to engage students with online interaction or from the distribution of printed material. Full teaching is expected across primary and secondary schools, as well as the University of the West Indies from September 14th. Education Minister Dr. Nayan Gadsby-Dolly had issued an online video message on Sunday. She assured that no one would be left out.
Different start for everyone. Some will be engaged online, and that's a new environment, and some of you will be receiving printed materials. And I know, parents, that we can feel a little worried, a little anxious about how this whole term is going to evolve. And those of you whose children are not online, you can feel even more anxious because you feel as though your child might be left out. I want to remind you that even if you are not online, preparations will be made for you by your teachers.
Minister Gadsby-Dolly urged all parents to keep in contact with their children's teachers constantly, especially those children who are unable to utilize the online learning option.
I would encourage all of us parents, to keep in contact with our teachers. And sometimes we have a parents' WhatsApp group that can give us good hints as to what's happening, what should be going on, and that's really useful for busy parents like me and like many of you. And if you are not at home to supervise your children, then we can use the village approach. Who is at home? Do we have older siblings, grandparents, someone that can help us? Because we are going to need help, because it truly takes a village to raise a child.
An 11-year-old boy was up to yesterday at the Scarborough General Hospital under observation after he attempted suicide on Friday. Reports said relatives found the boy at his home in distress. He was assisted by relatives and neighbors who called for medical assistance. The community emergency response team was first on the scene and revived the boy. Director of the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, Alan Stewart, told reporters CERT responded from its nearby Moriah base and took him to hospital. Police are investigating. Meanwhile, police are investigating the death of a man who was shot dead after getting food at a curry shop in Tacarigua. He has been identified as Marvin Scott of Picton Road, Laventille. According to reports, Scott went to the shop to buy food around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. When he left, he was approached by a gunman who shot him. Residents heard gunshots, and when they checked, they found him suffering from gunshot wounds lying on the roadway. Police and emergency services were alerted, and he was taken to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex. Doctor pronounced him dead on arrival. Residents say they did not recognize Scott and believed that he was from outside the area. Meanwhile, police are also investigating the circumstances that led to the shooting death of 25-year-old Dylan Baliram. He was found dead by his mother on Saturday night at her home at number 26 Booze Settlement, Rio Claro. According to police reports, Dylan's mother found his body on the floor of his bedroom some 20 minutes after she left him lying in a hammock in the living room. She reportedly heard multiple gunshot wounds before finding her son dead and several gunshot wounds to the head. Police believe he ran into the bedroom where the gunman entered and started firing. The incident reportedly occurred around 11:45 p.m. You are listening to the 8 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. It's time now to look at regional and international development. St. Kitts and Nevis is one of the first CARICOM member states to pass the Advanced Cargo Information Bill. The bill was passed in Parliament last Thursday. It will facilitate the provisions of advanced information relating to cargo and passengers of a conveyance to share information with other states. The Advanced Cargo Information Bill 2020 was passed to strengthen border security and through the Advanced Cargo Information System. It calls for the provision of advanced data or information to the Customs and Excise Department from cargo vessels entering the Federation's ports. Internationally, a man has been arrested on suspicion of murder after one person died and 7 others were injured in stabbings across Birmingham city centre. The 27-year-old suspect was arrested at an address in the Sally Oak area of the city. Police said he was also being held over 7 counts of attempted murder. The attacks happened at 4 central Birmingham locations in the early hours of Sunday. Police said the suspect was being questioned in custody. In news of the weather for the period today until midnight, Trinidad, Tobago and the southern windwards generally hot and sunny with showery spells in a few areas. Night will be mostly clear. The remainder of the Lesser Antilles, partly cloudy spells with showers are expected in varying localities. Conditions will improve during the afternoon with showers occurring in a few areas during the night. Seas are slight to moderate with waves 1 to 1.5 meters in open waters and near calm in sheltered areas. The current temperature is 26 degrees Celsius. And this brings us to the end of the 8 a.m. newscast on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Stay tuned for another newscast at noon. I am Nicole Duki. Good morning.
Well, thank you very much, Nicole, for that 8 o'clock newscast. And note that you can join Nicole again at around 12 noon for another news update. You're with the morning program on 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. The time in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, it's just about, 10 minutes here past the hour of 8. And that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Let's go to our sponsors. And when we come back, well, yes, we'll be into the final hour. Stay with us here, 975.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo for all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited for all your grocery items, wholesale and retail. At Darpon, you can also transfer money, pay your bills, and also cash your social welfare checks. Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited, located at number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande. They also specialize in real estate, and they also have a special on land at Arena Road, Freeport, for just $165,000 per plot. For further information, call Darban Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited at 267-3063 or 223-0630. Darban Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited of number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations: Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
To you, Newsday Classifieds. Take Value Optical to be your partner.
I do.
I do.
I now pronounce free eye test from Value Optical for Newsday Classified customers. Call the Newsday Classified reps for more information. You may now kiss the bride.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Just about 14 minutes here past the hour of 8 o'clock. And that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of a radio 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. You're with the most interactive morning program on the airways of Trinidad and Tobago with yours truly, Kenridge Wagonaut. And yes, I'll be taking you until the hour of 9 this morning. Well, the big new, one of the bigger stories coming out this morning is that BPTT, well, they are planning to cut 25% of its staff. How this will impact on Trinidad and Tobago? Well, it's another question altogether. Let's take this caller. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 975. Good morning.
This is open house, I imagine.
Yes.
However, I just called to remind the people about what it was said yesterday in The Guardian by Mr. Sinanan in reference to the floods. They asked him what went on in Avima. He said, real rain. And Sandy Grande, rain. And see what about South and Gasparilla? He said, well, this is the real rainy season. It never had so much of rain for the year. And he hasn't spoken about flood at all. He ain't mentioned flood. He ain't mentioned the rivers. He ain't mentioned the Gulf of Paria, one cleaning. He ain't mentioned nothing but rain, real rain. He never see rain too. Why this Minister of Works don't start getting to the point and try and poor people suffering, all kind of people suffering now in these areas. There was big floods and he wouldn't report what went on if he know what went on. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Belmont. Well, I don't know what more the government of the day can do. They have spoken about lack of resources. They would have spoken about, attempts would have been made by all agencies, including the regional corporations, to have some of these water courses cleared. But if you got a volume of water, and I go back to my initial point, which I would have made many, many times on this program, on planned development, indiscriminate dumping of garbage and what have you. I mean, I don't want to sound as though I'm repeating myself, but these are perennial problems which we have in this country. And whether we need greater legislation or greater fines is another question altogether. But we too, as a people, we need to be responsible. I understand that the role of the government, and by extension the regional corporations, they too have a role to play. But we too, as a people, we have a role to play. And I challenge you. You drive around the country, even in what you'll call lands, state lands that are abandoned, and you'll see mounds of garbage. Yeah, mounds of garbage. And for some reason or the other, I cannot fathom why people have a tendency to do things like this. That is, dump indiscriminately. It's part of the problem we are facing in this country. And we'll always have flooding in this country. Why? Because people do not behave in a particular way. Hence the reason we have these number of coronavirus cases in front of us. And I told you about my visit in, or rather, when I journeyed to Mayaro yesterday. Even though you have all of these restrictions, all of these guidelines, people still, they are not adhering to it. And when we have all of these figures coming in front of us, listen to me, folks. If we do not adhere, if we do not behave as responsible adults, in this country, we will be in a situation which we cannot come out of. Trust me. Already our health system is bursting at the seams. And when you look at some of the measures being taken by the government of the day, now they are asking you, okay, and by the way, I wonder how many of you would have read of all of the restrictions, all of the guidelines as stated by the Minister of National Security with people who will be granted certain exemptions to enter into Trinidad and Tobago. There are guidelines which the Minister would have spoken about, and I think it was published in one of the newspapers yesterday. You should make an attempt to get a copy of it and read the guidelines. There are categories and there are certain restrictions, so it's not a free-for-all, because our situation in this country, people, our situation is so dire that if, as I said, we do not comply, we will be in some real challenging and difficult times. Given that too, with dwindling oil prices, planes are down, people are not moving about as they ought to, the demand for products is low. So I don't know, by extension, on another note, how Finance Minister Colm Inbert will be able to, let's say, balance the budget of 2020-2021. A very challenging time in these. Yes, so we're moving on to our conversation. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. I'm sorry to miss your call. You need to call us back and share your thoughts with us. Well, over the weekend, I would have read with interest to a story as published in one of the newspapers. We're talking about a scandal in CPEP, the Community Environment Protection Program, CPEP. Now, the CPEP, through its senior operators, would have responded this morning, and they are prepared to challenge the claims and allegations made in that story. And to that end, they are prepared to go to court to that matter. But let me just share this with you here this morning. The Community-Based Environmental Protection and Enhancement Program says while it has recommended salary increases, these are yet to be approved. But one has to take into consideration why the Board of Directors at this time, in this GOVA season, would make some sort of recommendation for operators of CPEP to get a salary increase. They are not doing, let's say, a greater job than other state agencies. So the story goes on to say, CPEP made a comment in response to an article as published in one of the newspapers yesterday titled CPEP Dollar Scandal. In a release yesterday, CPEP said the Board of Directors approved salary increases in November of 2019. That was last year of 2019, and is currently awaiting the approval of the HR committee and the Chief Personnel Officer. It said Chief Executive Officer Keith Eddy and Corporate Secretary Nicole Gopal Singh had also not received any salary increases. Well, all that contrary to what the story would have said yesterday. So it's a very interesting development, and us here at 975 will keep you abreast and keep you updated. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. All right, I'm sorry to miss your call. You need to call us back. 636-7547-227-5739. Note we are also, you can catch us on WhatsApp at 378-4975. And we are also live on YouTube at RCL 975 FM. Let's go to some commercials, and when we come back, we'll continue with our discussion. 975 FM, hot like pepper. Stay with us here.
In the wonderful name of Jesus, my name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, your chachi, your chacha, your grandpa, your grandma. We need to pray for our nation. God bless you. Thank you.
Praise Him, praise Him.
To you, Newsday Classifieds. Take Value Optical to be your partner.
I do.
I now pronounce free eye test from Value Optical for Newsday Classified customers. Call the Newsday Classified reps for more information. You may now kiss the bride.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited for all your grocery items, wholesale and retail. At Darpon, you can also transfer money, pay your bills, and also cash your social welfare checks. Darpon Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited, located at number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande. They also specialize in real estate, and they also have a special on land at Arena Road, Freeport, for just $165,000 per plot. For further information, call Darban Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited at 267-3063 or 223-0630. Darban Trading Supermarket and Investments Limited of number 28 Foster Road, Sangre Grande.
Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Carry Care International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card, and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rocha Douglas Road, Barraco, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
Gosh, boy, I can't wait to be home now.
Stuck in traffic again, Hare Babri.
Well, guess what? Your day is about to get hotter than ever in the afternoon. It's the new afternoon drive time program on You 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Tune in Monday to Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. with yours truly, the DJ Flavia Experience. Let's make it hotter than ever in the afternoon. Great music, great info, and great vibes. Hotter than ever in the afternoon. Monday to Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. on You 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
This is Samaru Ramru inviting you on a journey down memory lane with enchanting songs on the program Nightline, Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let your heart sing along with the music on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Just about 26 minutes here past the hour of 8 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper. I have a caller here on the line. Hello, good morning. All right, I'm sorry to miss your call. You need to call us back. 636-7547, 227-5739. Now, we've been hearing this morning about some of the challenges faced by our frontline workers. And I listened to Watson Duke last week, who is the president of the Public Services Association, and he was making the point that our frontline workers, especially nurses, they need to, their concerns need to be addressed. And there's a very interesting article published in one of the newspapers here this morning, and I just want to share this with you here this morning. The story said, the recent spike in the coronavirus in our country has also led to an increase in calls to the CIT hotline crisis, but this time from people who have been on the front line of this battle, the nurses. Around the world, some governments are recording the number of infections and deaths among healthcare staff so that needed measures are taken to protect nurses and doctors from contracting the deadly virus. These reports also include incidents of psychological, sexual, and physical violence against healthcare workers. And remember, I spoke to you last week about a friend of mine who's attached to the San Fernando General Hospital, and she would have told me how challenging it is for them to actually have on a mask for 12 hours to provide health care to patients. It's very challenging indeed. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Kenneth. I'm calling from Barakpo here.
Good morning, Mr. Barakpo.
What I have to say, a school child at the age of 8 years, they're charging $1,000 for not wearing the face mask. On the St. Cross Road, a former works minister passed a law, you cannot repair truck. You have 3 ton cement mixer truck on 8 kilometers, St. Croix Road coming to Barakpo. Higher up St. Cross Road for 5 to 6, a contractor, but past Detroit, both sides, in Can High Road in North Barakpo. Scrap cars to the side of the road collecting water in the car. Half a car they have. Causing a health threat. What the health minister doing about that? Next thing, they're telling you to keep your surroundings clean. People who build licensed pictures. With my surroundings here where a man built a house, and I complained for the longest while, and his toilet posing a health threat to me. What he doing about that? What the corporation doing about that? Let's just take and see what is going on. This is the type of treat. Don't even leave a bottle cover, a cap. And next door neighbor with me, let this person have the coronavirus. What is health people doing about that? You just imagine. Right here in Barakpo, next to the market here, number 2 scale, you have fish stall. Put the stall both sides of the road. Decorate the stall both sides of the road. You in a box drain next to the petrol train ground. What these health people doing about that? Do just imagine. You cannot bring the corporate from Pinal. Let them see what is going on here. Posing a health threat. This is what's going on. That health minister never replied to my letter. Tell you clean your surround, clean your gutter, and clean your skin. Thank you, Mr. Kenrick.
All right, well, I hear you. And I know that you have been calling on this program and reaching out to the relevant authorities for help. Well, there's not much I can do but to listen to your claims and complaints and hoping that maybe those in authority can address your concern. But you are quite right. You are quite right indeed. And this is what I've been talking about all the time on this program. Look, you can frame so many pieces of legislation. You can have all of these legislation being passed. But at the end of the day, it's one about enforcement. And I go back again to a discussion which I would have had with you on a number of occasions on this program about people engaging in actually improving their homes or whatever, not getting the necessary approval from town and country planning, where you have business people. Let's look at mechanics indeed, roadside mechanics. They continue to ply their trade on the roadway. They park on the pavement and so on, impeding the movement of pedestrians. They conduct their business, yes, in public spaces. That's a no-no. But who is prosecuting them? Anyone is prosecuting them? No. So my caller there is right. You can have all of the guidelines. You can have all of the laws. But if as a people we continue to behave in a particular way and continue to, let's say, not be responsible, well, then we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And the caller there is quite right, Here it is, we want to prosecute and charge people for not wearing a mask, for not adhering to the public health ordinance and its guidelines. But there are simple things which police officers do not want to enforce. They are reluctant to do so, and I wonder why. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 975. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kenrick.
And good morning to you, sir. How are you this morning?
Fair fine.
What's happening?
Well, laptops.
Well, there are no taxes on laptops, eh?
It's good news.
On these devices.
It's good news for those who can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
It is also good news for those who have the credit card or the wherewithal to do it.
But hold on, let me provoke you and the listening audience. Some time back, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley would have reported to have said that laptops for secondary school is just it's not really relevant. My words, are
Yeah.
not really relevant, and it's a waste of time and waste of money and what have you, and so on and so on. But today, this very Prime Minister, and by extension his government and his Minister of Education, is calling on corporate Trinidad and Tobago to come on board to provide laptops to over 65,000 students.
All right. 2 questions.
No, am I right? No, hold on. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right.
Good.
All right. Now, 2 questions. I heard, well, they didn't have no cabinet press briefing since this new cabinet gets installed, right?
Yes.
But I heard via statement, I don't know if it was written or read, that it was part of the manifesto. I don't know, you could research it.
Part of the manifesto? To do what?
To reduce taxes, the online taxes and whatever on laptop. That was quoted by the Minister of Finance, right? But I don't know how true that is. The second thing is they got 168 laptops last week from somebody. And what is the criteria for distribution? It is geographically, is it the poorest of the poor? What is the criteria? You understand? Because there are the haves who will continue to have, and there are the have-nots who will not get. You understand? So unless the criteria is made transparent to all and sundry, that look, your child is eligible or not eligible, then that is one phase.
But I would want to believe that the Ministry of Education would have some sort of information, some sort of details or whatever as to who are these deserving students. Yes?
Well, they should, but you have some biases at some times.
So you're saying it's an area or an avenue
Make
for
it-
some sort of fraud.
Make it transparent that everybody would be comfortable. Because I know it have people who could afford to buy a laptop, but prefer to buy 10 cases a beer when the month done, rather than put the money into a laptop, because the ministry is supposed to provide it, and the ministry this, and what if we don't have that? All kind of excuses come up, All kinds of excuses come up. So it's not just the ministry, it's people in general too. But I think once we make things transparent as to who could qualify, remember that big scholarship fiasco a decade ago?
Yeah, the slush fund.
Right. So maybe we need to have more evidence, more correct evidence of who can and who cannot qualify. You understand? That would make the public
Yeah,
more
but hold on, Bawani. Having a laptop in your possession does not necessarily mean to say you would have addressed the problem,
No.
Is where it all the technology. Some parents are quite challenged in using the technology or being
Yeah.
available to the technology, and so
Exactly.
too students.
Yeah, exactly.
Because as I told you, I have a number of people in my family who are teachers, and over the weekend they would have lamented to me the challenges that they are facing.
Yes, that is another point. Because as I told you last week, yes, children learn. They start to learn computer when they're in primary school. But what they learn is more games and that kind of stuff. They wouldn't have to go into Microsoft Word or how to download something. Although some of them could do it.
All right, let's look at what is happening in front of us today. The number of coronavirus cases, and I would have told you that based on advice given to me or information shared with me, or speculation that we would have had over 2,000 cases by the end of 2020. Here it
But
is
he
now.
said, no, that was 3,000 cases.
Yeah, now we have 2,250.
So we
these,
reach here.
Yeah, these cases, we have these figures in front of us. And I asked the question this morning of Chris, what are some of the contributing factors, or what are some of the reasons why we have this spike in coronavirus in the country just after a general election? Why?
Well, I mean, you answered the question. It's just after the general election. So what you could look forward to in the next couple of weeks is Jamaica, even though their rates are higher than us, having a similar problem.
But they too in Jamaica, and I would imagine, based on reports, that even in Guyana, there are certain restrictions, more so there are curfews, yes?
Right. In Guyana, at one time they lifted the curfew from 9 to 5, but I was talking to a journalist there this weekend, and she said the curfew is back from 6 to 6. You understand? Now, we don't have a curfew. So, people still having their nighttime party and whoever and wherever.
But the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, is expected to address the nation, I think, on the 14th of this month, which is sometime next week.
No, well, most likely it might be Saturday, which is 12th.
Right. What are your expectations? Do we anticipate further restrictions? He already said there will be no lockdowns, but one would anticipate, given the movement of people, given the fact that people are not adhering, one can anticipate or speculate there may be some sort of a curfew coming for Trinidad and Tobago, you know.
Well, I think that might be one of the ways to go. That might be one of the ways to go.
Yeah, because
I shut down the economy totally.
No, because no, hold on. I still see people lining at bars.
Yeah.
I still see people congregating on afternoons and on evenings.
Exactly.
And this, my friend, is what the Ministry of Health has been advising against.
Exactly. But you know, Trini, we like to congregate.
All right. Well, I know that today the Ministry of Health will be hosting their daily press conference.
The bi-daily conference.
Yeah. So I don't know what will be coming out of that.
One good thing yesterday, boy. That was the fastest match to finish, eh?
Oh, you're talking about the
TKR Patriots.
Coming up against the Patriots.
I feel sorry for the Trinidadians on the Patriots, but what we go to?
Well, the Patriots is a second string Trinidad team, you know.
Yeah,
but one must take into factor here, Babani, that most of those frontline, so to speak, of course, market players who would have been contracted for the Patriots could not be part of the tournament because of certain restrictions. Yeah.
But we have to say thanks to God and the weather, only one match was totally abandoned thus far. So we're hoping for good weather for the next couple of days.
Yeah, well, tomorrow there are 2 games on tomorrow.
Yeah, I thought they were splitting it, but look, I understand the rationale for doing that.
Yeah, 2 games, one at 10 o'clock and one at 5:30. And then, of course, the final will be held on
Thursday.
On Thursday, yeah. All right, Bamani, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us this morning.
No problem.
All the best to you. Be safe, my friend. Anyway, let's go to some commercial this morning, and when I come back, okay. Well, I have this caller here on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Brian Big. How are you going? You enjoying the cricket?
Of course. It is very much enjoyable.
Well, your take. Who will come out victorious in those 2 semi-finals tomorrow?
Well, I was TKR, of course. Hope that they don't freeze like we did the last time. And whoever, it doesn't matter. One TKR in that final, I'm happy.
All right. Well, I see TKR and probably the Guyana Amazon Warriors in the final. No. That's my take on it.
Why are you wicked so much?
No. Based on what I looked at most of the games because I'm scared to come out of my house, my friend.
This will be what? This will be Amazon Warriors what? 4th final?
Yeah, and always a bridesmaid.
I say you're wicked, man.
All right. What's on your mind this morning, Ryan?
Well, let me just first say congratulations to the TKR's flawless season so far.
Anyway, describe it as a perfect 10.
Well, yes, I see it as totally flawless. They were excellent. I must say we've seen a lot of talent coming out again of the TKR. Local talent, that is. As long as the boys are able to do those transitions from the T20.
All right, Brian, you are a cricket enthusiast like yourself, and I enjoy talking cricket with people. Could you tell me what is the relevance of Darren Sammy on the Zooks team? What is the relevance of Ashley Nurse and Carlos Braffett on that Barbados team? Could you tell me?
Well, I'll take the last name first. Carlos Braffett. That final that we won, where he literally hit 3 sixes to ensure we win.
Yeah, that was in 2016 World Cup.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I don't know what has happened to him now. From being an all-rounder to, well, hopefully he gets off. I really don't know what he does.
Well, look at his lack of performance yesterday. LBW playing across the line in the second ball he would have faced. It just epitomizes his fall from international cricket and why he has now been reduced to not even being considered for our West Indies selection.
Well, this is the thing. I think Carlos Braffett needs to really and truly get back to basics. Because that's what he was known for. He was known for being a talented cricketer by doing what was needed to be done for basic cricket, and it got him onto the team.
Well, I'm always of the view that he's trying to remind people that his name is Carlos Braffett. Remember the name.
Yeah,
there's much expectations of
We
him.
remember the name, but
Yeah.
not every ball that you bowl, you think it's Ben Stokes.
But look, and I listened, or rather, I read with interest the comments coming from Roger Harper, who is the chief selector, West Indies chief selector, and I totally agree with him. During the entire tournament, no young player would have come to the fore. You would have seen glimpses of talent, but no young player would have actually put up their hand and say, well, you know what, I can walk into a West Indies team. There would have been glimpses of talent coming from people like Kevin Sinclair, Ashmin Ned, Jordan Seals, and you had some other younger players, Juvel Glenn and so on. But it really didn't light up the cricket field, so to speak. And even some of our more established players, I think that after this series, they should call it a day. I'll tell you why. Because they cannot offer nothing again to regional cricket. People like Jonathan Carter, people like Ashley Nurse, people like Carlos Braffett, people like Darren Sammy. They should call it a day. I make no apologies for saying that.
Well, in keeping to your substantive question, Ashley Nurse, yeah, I agree. I don't know what more does it have to take to tell Ashley Nurse, hey, go and be a manager or something. Darren Sammy, from what I have always seen from Darren Sammy, he is there to always push a team forward.
No, well, I describe him as a chief conductor of an orchestra. That's all he can do.
Yeah. Well, the man took two exceptional catches yesterday.
Yeah, but you have to pick what. Listen, you have to make a contribution to the team. Darren Sammy is not contributing anything to the team in terms of bowling and in terms of batting. None whatsoever.
You don't know the genesis of this man, and so how he came onto our West Indies team.
No, Brian, I'm sorry for being so bold this morning, but I'm looking at what is in best interest of West Indies cricket.
Listen, I don't disagree with you,
Yeah.
But like I said, people must remember how Darren Sammy got on the West Indies team. Was when in the Bangladesh series, when the team went into a protest mode, and Darren Sammy crossed the picket line, he became the West Indies captain. He was then this big-time all-rounder against Bangladesh. They won the series in Bangladesh, so he became a winning West Indies captain. So they were like, hey, we find somebody right. Eventually,
and what is coming to the fore here too, Brian, is that our very own Karen Pollard would have been persecuted and prosecuted by cricket administrators and cricket selectors in the region. And he's certainly putting tears in the eye, so to speak, by his performance, by his enthusiasm, by his approach to the game. He should have been West Indies white ball cricket captain for over the past 5 years. But for some reason or the other, those in the know, those stakeholders, refuse to look in his way because of insularity. Who vexed loss?
Well, I agree with you there, but all I'll say is that we tend to say that this one is doing well, this one is doing good, but the minute they reach on a West Indies team, again, chief point of example is Brandon King, who plays for Guyana, reached on the West Indies T20 team and just failed to come off. Right? I mean, we have to know sometimes what happens to them. Right?
All right, Brian, you're breaking up on me, my friend. I'm sorry, but cut our conversation, but you're breaking up on me. It's just about 14 minutes here to the hour of 9 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 975. Good morning.
Yeah, Ken.
Yeah, go ahead. You were breaking up on me. Go ahead.
That's all right. Just to move on, I would like to give my congratulations to the Jamaican Labour Party in Victoria. I actually know that party very well. I have had a lot of contacts in there. In fact, one of my very good friends, she now will be sitting in the parliament, and I am very happy for her. And I would just like to say that Andrew Mr. Holness, I got to meet him once. He's one of the nicest persons you can meet, Ken. If you ever get a chance to meet this man, you would be surprised of his humbleness, even as a prime minister. and he is one of the nicest persons you can meet in politics.
All right. Well, I hear you, Brian, and thank you very much. Yes, also to opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissessor would have issued congratulations and kudos to Andrew Holness for coming away victorious in the Jamaica recent general election. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 975. Good morning.
Morning, Jerry.
Good morning, sir. How are you? What's happening?
Good, man. The cricket going good.
Yeah, very good indeed.
Yeah. Well, Darren's family, that was serious to me, but anyway, he could get in the insularity. He could get another thing for the insularity of himself or himself. That's why the Pekini was in his case. Roger Harper going on a radio station, and they questioned him. And he is saying that he find in this CPL that he find that the batsman is looking for to make runs, not really putting up the fight to make runs, and talking about the low score. But he is saying about Cornwall. Not one word about Cornwall. And nobody asked him a question what Cornwall doing to play CPL and doing, and how he make the West Indies team. Not one word about that. But anyway, let me see we're going on to the end of the game and whatever. But one thing, everybody send a congratulations to Holness. Holiness is only today?
Andrew Holness.
Yeah, right. But the other fellow on the next side, the opposition fellow, he said if he lost the election, he go resign. He said he's stepping down. I don't know want to be opposition leader here. She said she going, what the people say she said, she is stepping down. So that is the kind of argument we must have from now on with Brian Big. What happened to your leader? Because the next man say he's stepping down, he will lose. The next one say, what the people say, that is she doing. And Anita is, I see she acting as the substitute energy minister. She talking about the boat in Venezuela. Every other boat go to Aruba and then go to Venezuela, and they ask them to hold sanction against Trinidad and Tobago, right?
No, well, I think the discussion has been centered as to whether or not Trinidad and Tobago should take some measures to actually, let's say, help out the situation with this boat in the Gulf.
And when you go to do that, and Munilago come out back again and say, call for sanction, they have no right to go and interfere with that boat. That is Venezuelan water. I only hope Anita Hayes asked Munilal for permission to talk about that in Venezuelan water. They had no right to talk about no Venezuelan clean water or no water or whatever. The people voted in Venezuelan water.
All right, my friend, let's leave it there for the while. We'll talk about that tomorrow. On that note, let me bring the curtain down on today's edition of the morning program and thank our callers for being part of the program. But I have this caller here on the line. Hello, good morning, welcome.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, good morning, Brad.
First of all, let me make it quite abundantly and as well as quote Attorney General, elucidly clear that the membership of the United National Congress has put confidence in Kamala Persad-Bissessor in the meeting as the leader of the United National Congress, as well as that of the MPs serving as leader of the opposition, where she got 19 signatures in support. And where in that, I can tell you the constituencies from St. Joseph to Toko Sangre Grande has come out and full support of her to remain as the political leader. We will have an election very soon. The membership will speak, and whoever chooses to fight the election, whoever becomes the leader, the membership shall decide who shall be the leader as well as the national executive of the United National Congress.
All right, well, I hear you, Brian. Let's take this caller. Hello, good morning. Welcome. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Kelly.
Hey, I thought you migrate, boy. I hear for the morning.
The second and last caller make me call, but when Brian called back to try to concretize the position because of the second and last caller. Brian, I am not, and I'm looking at integrity and morality and respect for the party. And if you lost 6 or 7 elections, young man, it is only right that you step. But you know why you would sing that song? Because she take a set of neophytes and put her wrong and surround herself with a set of yes men. If you put a defense of a set of yes men around you, come on, all the whole head. There's internal fighting. We have a man, my former parliamentary representative, and his partner, what's his name? Devon. fighting a war, and there's much more. They are probably just boisterous, but there are others. If she call the election now, come on. And here we're going on. I want the citizens to vote there. I don't want an internal for people in the UNC. I want it like all the PNM owners, where every member of the party should be able to vote if they want to. Right? So they have to change the election.
All right, well, I hear you. Well, you're talking about delegates and so on. Well, according to Brian, an internal election will take place. And, of course, those who want to challenge the leadership of the UNC, well, you are free to do so. Let's take this final caller. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Rick, I don't want to call back, but I want to tell Brian something. Brian, nobody had to make a decision for she to step down. If she find that she had enough, she lose enough, she fire people who could have helped she don't want no help. Brian, she has to make that decision. Nobody else can make that decision. It's only she and she alone. Pack up your bag and go home and sleep and relax. Nobody had to make no decision, Brian. I don't know where all leaders get this information so that it will have an internal election. And people will make a decision over she. That they don't have to. If I am fair to the people, then what? I don't care what you say. I don't care who dead and who live. This is my paper, and I don't want to report on it. I am going.
All right. Well, I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Let's leave it there for the hour, because I need to say my final goodbye for the day and invite you to join me again tomorrow, just after the 6 o'clock hour, where we'll do this all over again. Today, the Ministry of Health will be hosting their weekly news briefing. I suggest that you look on to that briefing if you have the time and hear what the authorities have to say. On that note, good morning, people. Take care of yourself. Please mask up, observe all social distancing, observe all of the guidelines as issued by the Ministry of Health. Sanitize, people. Sanitize. It's a very serious situation outside there. Be careful. Stay with us here. 975. Up next is the Bees Hi-Fi, but I leave you with this selection.